Hello and welcome to Gangs All Here. My name is Ryan Sampson. That's my guy Frankie Vittorini from U Stadium. Today is Thursday, February 19th. We're going to talk about should the Jets take Arvell Reese, number 2 overall. Frankie's got some hot takes about Reese.
Oh, yes, I do. I'm locked and loaded, baby. I'm ready.
You're on an island here with Arvell Reese, and I'm excited to get into that discussion here. Over-unders came out for Jets season total coming up in 2026. Just to give you Jets fans a heads up, it's not a high number. So we'll discuss that. We're also going to talk about some quarterback options for the Jets as we get ready for the offseason and free agency as it's approaching. Stick around on today's episode. Look, Frankie, most mock drafts are coming out now, and everyone is universally touting Arvell Reese, outside linebacker / edge, however you want to really position him, off-ball linebacker as well. They're mocking him to number 2 for the Jets, just because of the high talent he has, because they view him traits-wise off the charts. He's going to be 21, not until August. So you're talking about pretty much the end of training camp. He's going to turn 21 years old, so a very young player. But he played in a pro-style defense under Matt Patricia at Ohio State, had a great year in terms of just rising up the boards from an unranked prospect, you would say, to, holy crap, this kid might be the next Micah Parsons. Those are a lot of comparisons you're seeing about Arvell Reese right now. So the big question is Arvell Reese the guy at number 2 for Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji to target?
All right, Ryan, I'll say this. As a prospect, Arvell Reese has everything you'd look for.
Mm-hmm.
He has the speed. He has the aggression. He has the strength. He has the form when it comes to tackling. He's got something about him that you don't really see out of most prospects.
Mm-hmm.
He pops off the screen. I read somewhere where someone described him as being like an alien, someone from another planet.
Yeah.
In terms of the way
freakish
he moves.
Talents.
Just freakish. My issue with him is I don't know what position he plays. And
well, I think that's why he's such a unicorn, right? Like in terms of his traits and where he could play. You could play him as a full-time edge if you want to try that. You could play him as an off-ball linebacker. You've seen him. He diagnoses the run play really well, or the screen passes as well. And you've talked about it before. Sideline to sideline, he's very, very good at that part of his game of being able to track down where the ball is going, or pretty much figuring out where the play is going.
Yeah, he smells things out.
Yeah,
he does. He knows
that's
exactly.
impressive.
He does. The problem with him is, though, and the problem is the spot you're picking, where you're picking.
At 2.
You're picking at 2.
Yeah.
At 2, you want a player that is going to change football games.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Arvell Reese is really going to change football games. He'll do things where he'll track down a running back or even a quarterback, and he'll get to them, and that might stop a big play from happening. But you want to see more than just those kind of things. And I don't know if Arvell Reese were to be an every down edge. I don't know if he has the pass rush moves. I don't know if he has the instincts at edge to be able to pull it off better than David Bailey or Reuben Bain Jr. That's why I'm under the impression if you want to take an edge, and obviously edge is a premium position in this league.
It's something the Jets need right now.
Yeah,
because Jermaine Johnson and Will McDonald have proven not to be, reliable players every single down. I think Jermaine's due for a bounce back year, coming another year removed from the Achilles. You usually see them come back stronger from 2 years removed. Obviously, he still needs that burst, so you're worried about the Achilles long term. Has it affected his burst? He isn't getting a little bit older. And Will McDonald he stinks versus the run right now. He's just not a good player as a 3-down player. He's a great pass rusher, I would say. He's got an amazing spin move. That's part of his bag. I would hope that maybe Aaron Glenn and the new defensive line coach Carl Dunbar comes in and they can maybe add some more pass rush tools to his belt and get him going. But they need real impact players like you're talking about here on the edge.
Yeah, Arvell Reese, his last 6 games, he didn't have a sack. He did not force a fumble at all at Ohio State. He played next to Sonny Styles. Caden McDonald was playing in front of him, and Caleb Downs was playing behind him. That's going to open up a lot of lanes. We can talk about how much of a missile he is and how freakish he is and some of the things he does on a football field, quite frankly, nobody else is doing in this draft. But, Ryan, I look back at the Deion Jordans of the world. I look back at the Isaiah Simmons of the world. And Isaiah Simmons actually is a good football player, so there's no hate.
Yeah.
But, Ryan, I look back at those guys, and I'm asking myself, when the ball is snapped, you're playing one position. You're either playing linebacker or you're playing edge. You're not playing both. So you're not going to get value from him as a linebacker if he's playing edge, and vice versa. Your thought that you had a few weeks ago was actually really, really good and spot on and enlightening to a degree, where you said play him off ball on early downs and play him at edge on passing downs.
Yes.
Listen, that's perfect
how the
scenario.
Cowboys use Micah Parsons for the first
Micah
couple
Parsons
years.
is could be a once in a 15-year kind of player.
I understand.
I'm just saying.
I'm talking about the trajectory, though,
of
how they used him early with the Dallas Cowboys. They used Micah all over the field. I studied his tape. He was used as a middle linebacker for a lot of plays. He was used as an edge rusher. They had him rush up the middle against guards and centers one-on-one.
Yes.
Just try to find that mismatch because they knew they had a guy who can rush the passer from any spot on the field, really. So that's why I kind of push back on, he's not just a linebacker on one play and an edge on another play. It's like, well, no, he's going to be your unicorn. He's your weapon X. He's your guy you can put wherever you want on the field. If you're Carl Dunbar and if you're Aaron Glenn and even Brian Duker at this point, you're trying to scheme him up to get one-on-one matchups that you can exploit against opposing teams. Going back to what you're saying, though, about how he can track down quarterbacks really well. Look at the division we're in.
Yeah.
Look at the division the Jets
best
are in right now
quarterback
with
in
AFC.
football, Josh
You
Allen.
got two of the best running quarterbacks in the NFL in Drake May and Josh Allen. Drake May, we've seen what he can do with his legs.
Yeah,
and Josh Allen's the
underrated.
best with his legs, you could say, besides Lamar Jackson. Like, you need a guy who can track that quarterback down. And if you're telling me Arvell Reese can be our QB spy, and you could use him as your QB spy, and like, hey, man, your one job today is just stopping Josh Allen from making any of those big plays. Because that's what's been killing the Jets. Let's be real. And when they play the Patriots and the Bills, how many times have we watched on 3rd and long or a big key situation, and they get burned by Josh Allen or Drake May going for a long run?
The thing is, though, with spying, though, you have to tempo the spying, or you have to call it at the right time.
Right.
You can't tell an edge. You can only tell them you're going to spy 5, 7, 10% of the time, because if you're spying the guy, they'll have more time in the pocket. Whereas, like, I'm looking at guys like Bailey and Bain. Bailey more specifically than Bain, because I think Bailey's a better pass rusher than Bain, and they're both better than Reese. At just rushing, I'm saying. I would rather get to the quarterback before there's 3.5 seconds in the pocket. But I agree with you on Reese being a chess piece that I'm telling you, it's a high risk, but it's a high reward. You might get something out of him that not many players in the league have ever done, in terms of being able to play the run, play off ball, and be an edge, and get to the quarterback, and spy when you need to.
Yeah.
But also, you might get someone that doesn't really have a role on a team or a set role, is trying to be an off ball, but isn't that great of an off ball to justify taking him second.
He's been pretty good as an off ball linebacker.
He has. I've seen him at times get a little bit handsy.
He sniffs out the screen pass really well, I can tell you that right now.
He likes to really get handsy, though, with the guards and tackles. I think you want to shy away from – he gets away with it, or not gets away with it. He can do it because of his strength.
Correct, and his speed.
But he's not that big, so I don't know if he's going to be able to do that in the NFL.
He's only 20 years old. He's going to get bigger. He's
Yeah,
going to get stronger.
He probably will.
He's not fully developed in terms of size and speed and strength and all that. Like, if you think about it.
Might lose a little speed, though. I mean, it's give or take sometimes.
But if you put a little more weight on, he can be a full-time edge rusher. That's, again, why I think a lot of GMs and scouts get tantalized by the prospect of Arvell Reese. And this is a raw prospect that we see already good potential here, and it could be great potential, right? He has a higher ceiling, you would say, than any of the other pass rushers in this class, because if he does become Micah Parsons, holy crap, that's
totally.
It's an incredible weapon for your defense. I do want to make a comment here. So there's a comment on our video last week about how to fix the Jets that one of our fans for Gainesville here wrote, and I thought this was pretty interesting about the whole David Bailey, Arvell Reese discussion. Yeah. David Bailey is going to be 23 before the season started, and this comment argues that he's already going to be maxed out his upper frame, and he doesn't have the biggest legs in terms of strength as well there too. Reese has the strongest 245-pound person that he has seen in his lifetime. God forbid he gained 10 pounds in 2025. Bailey rushed the passer 325 times with 14.5 sacks last year. Reese rushed the passer 106 times and had 6.5 sacks, 219 less pass rush attempts. is there something to that? The fact that Reese was not a full-time edge, you can't really say he's not going to be the best edge rusher. He has been used as a full-time edge rusher in college.
Some of those stats are Reese getting sacks, though, not lining up at edge, or them playing a little bit of a joker kind of role.
219 less pass rush attempts, though, than Bailey.
Yeah.
And he still produced 6.5 sacks.
The thing with Bailey is, I've heard this before about his legs, if they're small. Do you know how much he squats? He squats 550 pounds. I don't care how big or small your legs are. If you're squatting 550.
He also has the best first step in all college football.
Easily.
So,
yeah. This is the thing with Bailey. If you want a guy that, in my opinion, has a trajectory where he could be the, best pass rusher in that division and maybe one of the best in the conference, a Nick Bonito kind of guy, that's the kind of guy you're looking at there. I don't think you can do that much with him. I don't think you can move him around too much. I think he's going to play your outside linebacker in a 3-4. He'll play your traditional DN in a 4-3 on those hybrid sets. And you're going to just tell him to get his ass to the quarterback. That's really what David Bailey does. You want to get him going to the quarterback. And against the run, I just saw a stat recently. He was second in all of college football out of all the edges in terms of run stop rate. Now, granted, he's not the best edge setter against the run. He's not, standing guys up or pullers up and setting that edge. He's constantly trying to get around the tackles or tight ends or pullers to get leverage, to get to the quarterback or the backs. That's what he does. But you look at David Bailey, man, to me, I wouldn't try to overcomplicate things. You need an edge. I don't think he's Will McDonald. I think he's a lot stronger than Will McDonald, by the way. I think Will McDonald doesn't squat 550 pounds. I would bring in a guy that I know for a fact is going to average 10 to 12 sacks in year 2 or 3 in this league. I don't know if Reese is going to do that. I don't know if Bain's going to do that. Or trade out. If you don't have conviction on those 3 guys, there's teams that are going to love Reese. There's teams that are going to love Bain and Bailey. Trade back if you don't have conviction. I just think Reese is too much of a project that I don't know if the guys here right now in that defensive room or the coaches that we have, I don't know if they're going to be able to maximize who Arvell Reese could be. And again, I'll say it again, Ryan. His defensive coordinator was Matt Patricia. He played with Caden McDonald in front of him.
Yeah, a lot of talent.
He played with Sonny Styles next to him and Caleb Downs behind him. You don't think that opened up opportunities for him to be that missile that he is? And to his credit, he's phenomenal. I don't see many players when I'm looking at these guys that are able to track and destroy like Arvell Reese is. He's really a special talent. I'm starting, though, as I go through this year by year, I'm starting to be less intrigued by the talented guys and more intrigued by the production guys. The what-if stuff,
He's got the highest
it worked
upside
with
of the
Micah
group.
Parsons.
Yeah.
You are right with that. But
Micah Parsons went, 11?
12?
I thought it was 11. Was it 12?
I thought he went 12th. I don't know. We could look it up.
But, like, he has the highest upside, you would agree, of all the guys, though, in this draft in terms of what he could be in this draft as a pass rusher. Like, just because of his traits that he has. He was 12th, you're right, to the Cowboys. Look, you're not the only one on this not bandwagon, but this idea that Arvell Reese is too much of a project and it's harder to project where he's going to be, his rookie, second, third year. Because Daniel Jeremiah, who I really, really love in terms of draft evaluation and evaluating prospects, I think he sees it the right way, the game today. He actually, in his last mock draft, has the Jets taking David Bailey, just like you. He says the Jets have the pick of the draft's finest edge rushers here at number 2, but with David Bailey's combination of explosiveness and production, it's the best of the bunch between him, Bain, and Arvell Reese. And he actually has Bain going for Reese as well. And then on Reese, he talks about how
I don't see that happening, by the way. If the Titans are there for Robert, and we're going to do our little
Robert
mock
Saleh
draft show in a little bit.
I mean, Ruben Bain might be his type of player.
It might, but I think Robert Saleh, remember, you look at Quincy Williams he liked.
Yeah.
He liked Will McDonald. He likes those guys that are a little thinner but freakishly like athletic and able to really
Fred
bring
Warner.
it. Yeah,
when he was
I
with
think when he
San
looks at
Francisco.
Arvell Reese, I think he's going to see all those traits in that.
He says Reese provides explosiveness and versatility. He might be a tougher projection than some of the other pass rushers in this year's draft. Given that he split time between the edge and off-ball linebacker for the Buckeyes, Reese has the highest upside of the group, however. Overall, though, as a player, would you be upset if the Jets take him at number 2?
I would.
Okay.
I would. And I'm not upset where I'm going to have a tantrum on Twitter or something, but these idiots, these morons, I just won't say anything. I'll be disappointed because I think what they need is not Arvell Reese. Arvell Reese is a finishing chess piece, or he's a chess piece in this league that you need to really get him. You need to know how to use him, man. We're trying to figure out how to just get sacks. We're trying to figure out how to get turnovers. We had 4 all year.
Reese had none.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out how to get interceptions. We had none last year. I don't want a project guy. I don't want someone that's cute or someone that has all these physical traits that looks like some, specimen from another planet. I want someone that gets to the damn quarterback. 15 to 20% of the time, which is what his pressure rate was, Bailey. That's what I want. So I don't understand, people that are saying and assuming that Arvell Reese is this can't miss edge. I don't know what you're watching. As an off-ball linebacker, I'll say this. I think he's getting close to being a can't miss starting off-ball strictly in the NFL.
Yeah.
There's no way if Arvell Reese just plays off-ball, he's not going to play in this league for 8 to 10 years.
He could be almost an all-pro off-ball linebacker.
I would have to see a little more, but yeah,
he has the traits to be that great. I mean, he could be if they decided to make him an off-ball linebacker. I think he could be that good.
He could. He has the potential.
But he has to work on turnovers.
But
he has to be able to force the turnover.
You got to hit the ball out, man.
Get the ball out.
He's
100%.
a very raw prospect.
Look, I think I'm leaning Bailey as well, just in terms of pure pass rusher. The first step is impressive from him.
The moves are so impressive.
They are.
He feels things out. He'll bust out a spin move out of nowhere. You're like, he can do that. You're like, how did he pull that off? He knows how to feel the pressure of the tackle so well and how to use the pressure against the tackle. He's a wrestler.
He's beaten some of the best pass tackles in this upcoming draft. He's just abused some of these guys when you watch the tape on some of the top tackles in this class. And the other thing I'll say about Bailey, too, is that, this is just not a great draft in terms of top-end talent.
Yeah.
So, trust me, I've thought about it. Caleb Downs, would that be fun? Yeah, that would. But you just don't take a safety number 2.
You want Caleb Downs, don't you?
He's the best player in the draft.
At his position, probably. Him and the guard out of Penn State.
Yeah, I mean, he's the best player in the draft. And you want to talk about real difference maker? If you could have the Kyle Hamilton of this draft, I mean, sign me up. And the Jets need safeties. They don't have any safeties in that room right now. But look, with David Bailey, you would have a legit pass rusher to put across from Jermaine Johnson on all 3 downs, and then maybe you sprinkle in Will McDonald on third down pass rush situations, or you get rid of one.
Yeah.
I wouldn't trade away depth because I think the Jets need as much depth as possible on this defensive line. And I think David Bailey would be a lot of fun for Carl Dunbar. Fits kind of more his mold, I feel like, just in that defense they're going to try and run.
You know what I would do if I was the Jets? Not to cut you off, but if I was the Jets, I would look at Jermaine Johnson. You have to transform Jermaine Johnson a little bit into what Justin Tuck was for the Giants. Put him in a prototype DN that isn't an outside rusher strictly. You could play him a little inside, play him outside as you see fit. He might have to gain a few, but he's a workout warrior. Yeah, he's a thinner build, but he's jacked. Let him get a little heavier. Put on another 5 to 10 pounds.
I like Jermaine, man. I think he's a good dude.
He just can't get off tackles. He gets stuck to tackles.
Again, I'm not giving much credence to last year. I can't put too much credence into last year. A guy coming 1 year. The stats in NFL and most sports, you look at it, a guy coming from his first year back from a torn Achilles, they're never the same. You have to give it 2 years, give him a chance to really come back, develop, and actually prove himself again, because I think there's just too many tools there for Jermaine Johnson as a player, and I would love to see him get another chance to be a full-time player in this Jets defense. In Aaron Glenn calling plays, Carl Dunbar is a much better coach than what they had
100%.
previously. So let him get in this system, and let's see what happens there. So look, I think that covers just what right now. The Jets number 2. We think Bailey's more of a fit for them right there, just because of the way they're currently going staff-wise, defensively, and schematically. Then Arvell Reese, who is looking to be more like a project, just because there's not enough solid projection there to say, yeah, this is a guy we have to take no matter what at 2, and he's going to be a real difference maker for us on day 1. The Jets need starting players, Frankie. They need guys they can put into the rotation and say, you're starting day 1, you're going to get the job, and you're going to help grow with this team overall. Next thing we should talk about here is Breece Hall. Look, we discussed this on How to Fix the Jets last week, which all of you should check out on our New York Post Sports YouTube channel or wherever you get your podcast. Gang's all here. Frankie and I broke it all down, How to Fix the Jets. One of the big things we hit on was Breece Hall. Now that we're past the February 17th date, the Jets can now officially start to tag a player if they wanted to. Breece Hall is the prime candidate here.
Yes, sir.
The big discussion, I think, amongst all Jets fans right now is, should the Jets tag Breece Hall? I'm going to keep this brief on my end. Yes, they should. They need playmakers on this offense. They desperately need a playmaker. Breece Hall provides that both in the pass and run game, in my opinion. Yes, could he be better as a runner? Yes. But I would love to see him in this Frank Reich offense, give him another chance with a solidified offensive line, and just prove himself one more year here with this Jets team of, hey, can you be the star of this offense here for this year? Because it seems like it's going to be a bridge quarterback most likely.
Totally. Now, the thing with Breece Hall, though, and I agree with you, give him the tag. The question becomes, what kind of tag?
Yeah.
Is it the exclusive tag? So the exclusive tag, I'm not gonna do a little like.
No, you don't have to break it down.
Yeah, but I'll break it down quickly. Exclusive tag, it's the most money.
Yep.
He can't talk to other teams, right? The non-exclusive tag is a little bit less, about 14.5 versus 16.
I think that's where they're going to go, to be honest with you, the non-exclusive tag.
Yep, non-exclusive tag. He can talk to other teams, gets the average of the top 5. But if a team offers him a contract, we can match.
Correct.
If we don't match, they have to give us 2 first-rounders. The non-exclusive tag was put in place for quarterbacks, not for running backs, really. Running backs don't like it usually. Why? You're giving me the non-exclusive tag. Why? You don't want to pay me $16 million? You want to pay me $14? You want to, yeah, right? You
it's
want
fully guaranteed.
You want to save a few $million because no one's going to give up 2 first-rounders for a running back. So that can leave a bad taste in the running back's mouth. But from a pure business perspective for the Jets, it works. The transition tag's the most interesting one. That's an average of the top 10, and it's not exactly the top 10, but whatever. It's like a moving number. But it's around 10 to 11 million. He can go and seek other offers, and you have the right to match. If you don't match, you have 7 days to match. If you don't match, he moves on, right? And that team that would have signed him doesn't give up anything to bring him in. So you save money on the transition tag, obviously. You could save $6 million-ish compared to the exclusive, 4.5 compared to the non-exclusive. But you give the running back really all the leverage and his agent to go out and seek other deals from other teams. If you don't want to match, you lose them, and that team that signed them is giving you nothing. So I don't know, man. I think, if you want to play this in good faith, you do the transition tag. If you want to be a stern businessman like Mr. Ryan over here, Mr. Shark Tank Ryan.
You got to protect yourself.
Yeah, I
mean, Jets can't.
If you give him the non-exclusive, no other team is signing him.
I understand
and you
that.
save a few million. No,
but if you're the Jets, you have to protect yourself here. Like, running backs don't have a long shelf life here, and I'm sure Breece understands that as well. Like, I only have a certain amount of years left in my career. I want to bank on that right now. But who's paying him all this money that we're talking about here? A team would have to be really desperate, in my opinion. He's not right now. He's not a top 5, top 8 running back in the NFL. Potential, we would love to see it happen, just like we would love to see Garrett Wilson be a top 5, top 8 wide receiver in the NFL if he actually had a real quarterback to play with and had a real offense to play with. It's the same thing in Breece, in my opinion. Would love to see him with another offensive coordinator where they're going to focus on the run. They're going to do a lot of RPOs, you would think, with Frank Reich and his history. And I would love to see him just like get a full chance at this again of, let's run it back, Breece, one more year. You get a chance to make all your money after this if you have a great year. And it protects you. Like you said, if he goes and negotiates a deal with someone else and someone else is willing to give up picks, I don't know why they would. But if they are, great. That protects you in the end.
I have a question for you, though.
Yeah. I'm just in a belief, though, that you don't give up good players for nothing.
Yeah, especially when you're not a good team.
I wouldn't let Breece walk away for nothing, if that makes sense.
That's fair. And under the transition tag, he could. I'll give you that. But I'll say this. You want to build a good relationship with Breece at this point. I don't think the relationship's there, right?
It's a new regime, man. They have no ties to him whatsoever.
Yes and no. Because, yes, you're right. However, you're building a relationship, right? If you tell Breece, let's sit down in a room, we're going to play this out in good faith. Go and see what offers you can get. go, right? If you don't get any that we want to match, you're going to play here on 10 or 11 million. But if you get an offer out there, go and seek one, we'll be able to match it. And that's the transition tag in a nutshell. No team, the non-exclusive tag is the Jets' way of almost circumventing a little bit of a loophole with running backs. No one's giving up 2 first-round picks to sign Breece Hall. Even for $10 million bucks over 3 years.
I agree.
No one's giving that. They wouldn't even do it for free.
I agree.
So you're not getting – so the non-exclusive tag is just your way of saying to Breece, we want to save $1.5 million of dollars.
It's not about that to me.
I mean, that's what it happened with Saquon Barkley and the Giants.
I hear you, but they didn't want to pay Saquon at all. Like they –
Yeah, I don't – do the Jets want to pay Breece?
No, they don't.
Yeah.
At least I don't think they do.
We don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It seems like they're hesitant.
They don't tell us what they're thinking here.
Yeah.
Like Aaron Glenn has run a tight ship. To his credit, one of the few things he's done well is he's kept everything in house in terms of where the decisions are going to be for their roster and coaching too, because all these things come out of friggin' nowhere.
So you want to keep Breece for a year just to see what he can do, and then maybe you can negotiate a long-term deal throughout.
If everything goes well with him this year, and let's say you win. They beat their projections. They go 6-7 wins this year. I don't know who their quarterback, Kirk Cousins. And Breece has an incredible year. Pay him. You're a homegrown Jet. We think we're actually got something here.
I'm with you, yeah.
We're going to draft a quarterback in the rookie.
He's going to be 26 maybe, something like that.
And we think we can have something with you here, and you could be a career Jet. You could be the all-time leader in Jets history in rushing if you really want to be here long term.
The thing is this, though. If you give him the non-exclusive tag, in the back of Breece's mind, he might say, really, that's how they're going to treat me? Well, in the back of his mind, he might say, I cannot wait to get out of here.
Okay.
I'll collect my $14.5 million, and I'm out. And then basically you just had him for a year.
Had him for another year.
I'm like almost a lame duck year.
What's the alternative? Kenneth Walker, who's often hurt? Tyler Algier? Come on.
Yeah, I think the only alternative with him is the transition tag, saying, you think you're worth something, Breece? Go and seek a deal out. We'll see if we want to match it. If we don't want to match it, you can leave. That team's not giving up any picks. Leave. Or if you can't, if no offers are out there, Ryan, no offers are out there, we're keeping them on 10 to 11 million, which would be really nice, cap friendly for us. It's basically 40% of off of what the exclusive is. Or, you're in no man's land. I mean, with what you're saying, you're gonna have to look at another option at running back. I think there's only a few backs in this class I would look at, but where are we going, Rye? Where are we going with Breece for a year? We got to keep. I'm with you to keep him for a year, but you better make sure he wants to be here. I think if the transition tag doesn't work out,
hang on real quick. I think you're thinking about this the wrong way. You were thinking way too much like a GM like Darren Muji, thinking 3 years in advance. You need to think about what Aaron Glenn, the man actually in charge, is thinking right now. What is he thinking about? How do I save my job and extend this into year 3? Because that's what he's trying to do this year. He's trying to win as many games as possible. Breece Hall, who has won him literally 2 games, helped beat the Falcons and single-handedly beat the Bengals, right? We all agree on that. I need Breece Hall back in my team. And even if it's a 1-year deal, franchise tag, I'll use it to my power that we have. And let's make sure that we keep Breece for 1 more year and run it back the way we can. That is the only thing. I'm looking.
Do you think that's a good move for the Jets long term, though?
Yeah, 1 year.
Yeah.
Who cares? It's 1 year of guaranteed money. They have $93 million in cap space. I don't care if it's $14.5 million on the cap, fully guaranteed.
Fair enough.
And you shouldn't care either because that's
really
chump
don't.
Change.
The only thing I'm wondering is why. The only thing
I just laid it out for you.
Why long term though? I'm saying. Like,
what do you mean long term?
Like if Breece isn't gonna, because if you give them, there is a chance. I'm saying if you give
them, they could find a new running back next year in the draft.
They could, but you have to. Yes, but if you give him the non-exclusive, do you think the Giants regret giving Saquon the non-exclusive tag and then he ended up leaving the next year? Granted, Saquon actually wanted to stay.
Yeah, Saquon actually wanted to stay, and let's be real, Breece is not Saquon.
No, he's not.
Saquon went to the perfect spot with the Eagles where they determined to run the ball, the best offensive line in football, and it was a perfect spot for him, and he had one of the greatest seasons ever a running back can have. This is a much different scenario here, buddy. Like, Breece Hall is super talented. I think he could be top 8, top 5 if he really, really hits the high of highs. But I'm talking about this Jets offense. If they want to actually have a legitimate offense, Frankie, and I mean legitimate of having a top 18 offense in the NFL, because the Jets have been 32 or 30 or 31 in the NFL in terms of quarterback efficiency, scoring, all the stats we see. Warren Sharp taking shots at the Jets on social media. I'm talking about slightly moving above that from the depth of the NFL being the worst offense, because the Jets have been so despair in terms of how we're running an offense. It's inefficient. It's miserable. How many times are we watching games going, I feel like I'm watching a different sport from the quarterback and the offensive side of the ball? They've churned through how many offensive coordinators the last couple of years? So if you're telling me I get Frank Reich, a known veteran play caller, and I'm giving him the chance to pick whatever quarterback he wants to be the bridge quarterback, he's going to want to bring Breece Hall back. And if Aaron Glenn says, yeah, no problem, because I think that'll help us win games, that is the only thing they are thinking about. 2026, Breece Hall, 1-year deal, franchise tag him, move on. That's it, man. Move on to the next thing you can do.
Yeah. The last thing I'll say about Breece Hall, I'll say this. Sometimes I question his running ability within the tackles.
And that's granted. You have 100% way of thinking
and
like
I'm
that.
almost, I don't want to say sick of it, but I'm like, he barely got over 1,000 yards. How many touches does this guy need to get to his peak season? We wanted to use him as a pass catcher, and that didn't really work out this year. We were talking last week on the How to Fix the Jets show, which was a great show, by the way. I would highly recommend it. But we're talking about Kenneth Gainwell having 75 or whatever, 78 catches last year. I'm like, Breece last year was, for the most part, a disappointment. I know Kaz said he should have been the team MVP, but that's like saying, I'm the tallest guy. I should have made that joke. But, it's just, man, come on. Like, I almost want to see a new back there. I want to see Jadarian Price be the running back.
Love him, man.
Him and Braylon Allen kind of beasting within the tackles. I'm sick of this like Breece experiment.
If Braylon can stay healthy, they might have a good 1-2 again. It's a lot of ifs.
I know. We're playing the if.
And we're playing
You're
the game.
right with the non-exclusive. Gun to my head, I'm giving him that. But you understand that just could be a complete waste of money and time, right? And
a 1-year deal?
And looks for a year.
1 year?
Where are the Jets going with him for a year?
Where are they going without him?
You might start thinking about other things, though. You might give Braylon a full
You've
half
told
of a
me,
load.
hang on, real quick, because this is driving me crazy. You literally told me last week this is a terrible running back draft class.
There's a few guys I do like, though.
As starting full-time running backs?
There's a few. Yeah, I told you, Jadarian Price.
You are on a real island there, because everyone else I've heard is saying this is not a good running back class.
It's not.
So why am I saying let's go take a look at something that's completely unknown when I know I have a superiorly talented running back in Breece Hall who can catch with the best of them, and I can have a new offense with a bridge quarterback, a veteran quarterback that's going to give us better quarterback play than we've had in the last friggin' 10 years. It's going to open more things up for Breece Hall. And I want to see what I can get out of that. And it's going to help me, Aaron Glenn, save my job if I can win more games and prove that we can have an actual viable top 18. That's all I'm asking for, top 18 offense.
You're talking exactly the way that Aaron Glenn, or thinking exactly the way that Aaron Glenn should be thinking.
Because I'm being realistic.
But let me say, from a fan perspective, we had Aaron Rodgers here, was going to unlock Breece, didn't happen. We were supposed to unlock him this year. We were going to unlock him this year. It kind of, I guess.
Hang on, Aaron Rodgers ran his own offense.
But
he checked out of how many run plays
at some point, and Breece, I've read some things and I've seen some things where doesn't people question if he even wants to be here.
Yeah, I know he doesn't want to be here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So you're gonna bring. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's two sides to this argument.
But I'm trying to win games.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the best course of action.
See, now you're looking too much like a fan, in my opinion, a fan of tank. I
don't want to tank. I just don't want to do this again. No, you are. You're
Tanky V. Like, we all know that. Like, that's how you are. Everyone knows he's Tanky V.
I'm Tanky V. I mean, I told you this was going to be a rough one.
You're just unbelievable. Like,
I was
realistic.
also told teams don't tank. How many teams?
The Jets tanked last year. The Jets tanked. Yeah, we all know they tanked.
Teams are starting to tank.
The NBA's tanking. Like, the NFL's tanking now too. But like, look,
listen, you're right with the win games, the most strategic.
If my offense is going to actually be a real offense, I can't handle a rookie unknown that's most likely not a starting running back. Braylon Allen coming off a bad knee injury, and I mean, what? Isaiah
I don't know if
Davis.
it's a bad knee injury.
It was a bad knee injury. He was out for the whole year, Frankie.
Yeah, but he had a timetable. He even could have returned.
He was out for the whole year.
It's not a bad knee injury.
If that's not a bad knee injury, then I don't know what a bad knee injury is. Missing more than 2 months is a bad knee injury.
He'll be fine. Trust me.
Okay.
It's not an
Okay.
ACL or a PCL.
A guy who's a power runner coming off a not a bad knee injury. He'll be fine. Man, we live in different worlds and looking at these things. Let's finish this up. Jets 5.5. The wins can't. Sorry, you got me flustered now because of this goddamn Breece Hall stuff.
So he has Brian. Brian is what's your take on this? Can he talk? Can
No,
he
he
talk
can't talk. This is total chaos right now.
Are you in for Breece or are you out for Breece?
He's talking to my
All right.
producer right
He's
now.
in for
He
Breece,
says bring
okay.
Breece back.
All right, so
because
I'm outnumbered.
he's a Cowboys fan, and he loved Zeke Elliott, and he know that you always keep your running backs, especially
Yeah, and
in-house.
that worked out well for them.
It didn't for them, to be honest with you. So, look, season win totals for all the NFL teams came out in the draft. DraftKings was one of them. Some other sportsbooks came out.
Sir.
The official over-under win total, over-under, for the Jets in 2026, Frankie, is 5.5.
Ugh.
I think that's right. I think 5.5 makes sense.
I think it's too high.
You think it's too high?
I
You're not
do.
the first person to say that to me either. I mean,
I think it should be 4.5.
if Kirk Cousins is the quarterback this year in 2026,
Kirk Cousins the quarterback, you could convince me on 6.5.
I would say 5-6 wins makes sense for the Jets. The schedule's not easy.
Listen, it's a.
By the way, I
again,
do think the Dolphins are tanking. Like
Yeah.
they look like they're stripping it down to its bare parts here and bare bones, and then trying to go into the following year drafting a quarterback like I'm sure the Jets are going to be trying to as well.
I think the Jets are going to go 2 games above that or 2 games below that, depending on the quarterback and the coaching staff. I actually, to be honest, I'll say this. I'll be a little positive today for once. I do like some of the coaching hires. I love Carl Dunbar coming back.
Yeah.
I do like Frank Reich as a senior mind there, someone with experience. I hate that we got rid of Tanner, but regardless, that's a sunk cost at that point. Worry about the next move, and I thought that was good. I like Musgrave to a degree. You can't substitute it for experience. I like Rex's son, Seth Ryan, there. I like Markle that they brought in. I like some of the stuff they did on defense. I like that Glenn's calling the defense. So I think, like, from a coaching perspective, I think they set themselves up in a good way.
What they should have done last year with the coaching
Totally.
staff, to be honest
They
with you.
should have done this. You're
Yes.
right. They should have done this last year. Exactly. And then if it didn't work out with the experience, then you can start the rebuild with the young guys. You're 100% right there. With that said, Ryan, I think it might work, or it might have been a year too late. Where it's like, it's just all over
This
the
is a
place.
bad football
Doesn't make
team.
sense, and they win 2 or 3 games.
Don't get this twisted,
You know
Jets
what I'm
fans. This is a bad football team. You could draft as many great players as you want right now. They are not going to turn this around to being a 7, 8, 9 win team next year unless something miraculous happens. They're playing the Bills obviously twice, the Dolphins twice, the Patriots twice. Then they got the Broncos, the Raiders who stink, the Packers, the Vikings, the Browns who stink. They got the Chiefs, the Chargers, the Bears, the Lions, and then they play two more clunkers in the Titans and the Cardinals.
And a lot of those tough teams are on the road too.
So it's gonna be like a lot of hard games. But then like the Dolphins should be easy, the Browns should be easy, the Raiders should be easier, and then the Titans and Cardinals, maybe you can squeak a win out there. I think 4 to 5 wins make sense right now with this Jets team. Kirk Cousins brings them to that 5 or 6 win, I would say, for the Jets right now.
Yeah. 5.5 does tell me, though, that there's probably some real murmurs out there, or there's some actual speculation that the Jets might be in that quarterback market. Might be looking at a Kyler Murray, a Derek Carr, someone like maybe they want to pay Malik Willis. And if they do one of those moves, that then talks to that 5.5 number, because I can't see today the Jets winning 6 games right now with what they have.
Yeah, I mean, right now, Breece Hall's not under contract.
Yep.
It's just Garrett Wilson.
AVT's not under contract.
AVT, John Simpson's a free agent. They have one starting corner right now in Brandon Stevens. They only have one starting linebacker. They got, obviously, Will McDonald, Jermaine Johnson. They don't have really good nose tackles. They have no safeties on the roster pretty much. So
I think that that also speaks a little bit maybe also to the draft capital. like when we talk about how real the draft capital is, 216 and 33. That's real.
And 44.
And 44. That's really good. That's the best out of any team in football.
Yes.
We're coming into this.
They need three of those 4 players to be legitimate starters this year.
Yep. 3 need to be starters. 2 need to have all pro trajectories. 1 can,
all pro. Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
I'm saying 2 of those have to have some sort of
everyday
trajectory.
starters. They need at least 3 of those 4 picks.
Yeah, 3,
so,
definitely.
Look, it's a terrible quarterback draft. We've gone over that multiple times. They're going to be going the bridge quarterback route this year unless they can somehow swing a trade for a quarterback that we're not thinking about.
What happened with you? I want to ask you this question. I'll ask you a question. You were huge on Ty Simpson the first half of the football season. And I know a lot of people that were, and they quietly pulled the plug. Like, is anyone looking? I'm out. Like, and I don't know, is that fair?
Can I tell you why?
Is that fair due to the injury and the offensive line play, how bad it was, and no running game in Alabama?
You want to know why?
Yeah.
I think there's too much credibility to the fact that he has only 16 starts in his career, and you need to have, at minimum, I think that the number is, 20, 25, something like that.
Almost 30.
Almost 30. He doesn't have enough experience starting, and quarterbacks like that, besides Cam Newton, don't come out of college and have success ever in the NFL. It's such a rarity, and I don't think the Jets have the affordability to say, let's take, like you just said, take one of those top 44 picks and say, let's spend it on a quarterback that is really, really a project that we like. Maybe he can be a somewhat viable starting quarterback, but in all reality, we might be looking at the next, like, J.J. McCarthy, one of the worst starting quarterbacks statistically in the history of the NFL. Like, that's what we're talking about disparity-wise. So it was a really bad, like, stretch for him at the end. Like, the tools are allowed there. Like, I think he could be extremely accurate. I love that he's a coach's son, and, he football's born and bred in him, but, like, I just don't see the Jets putting a pick into him unless he slips to 33, and then it's like, you know what? There's always less pressure when you take a quarterback in the second round compared to that first round. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you tag a guy in the first round and say, tag you're our guy in the first round, there is a ton of pressure that goes on that quarterback to say, you have to become an actual starting quarterback within the first 2 years of your career. And if you don't, you become a bust. And then if it comes a second round pick, it's like, like Tyler Shuck, like, hey, maybe we got something here. Maybe the last 5 games of the year, the season this year, Ty Simpson, let's say the Jets take him at 33, and, he starts the last, 5 to 6 games, and he wins 2 of them, and you're like, hey, he went for 7 touchdowns and 2 interceptions in that 5-6 game span. We might have something here, and you can build for that the following year. So,
I think there is a possibility that he is there at 33.
Maybe.
Because everyone has him as a consensus second quarterback in this draft. When you start doing that too early in the process, and when it's such a weak class after 1, you're going to have other quarterbacks that are going to propel. You're going to have the Garrett Nussmeiers, maybe Carson Beck. You never know. There might be a shooting star, they call them, where they kind of jump up, and they might take Ty's spot in the late first round, and then Ty could be there at 33.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, it's just something interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I think us as Jets fans, though, we've burned so many times with how they've drafted these quarterbacks and not been able to develop any of them. And you've seen guys like Sam Darnold go and develop in other places after multiple years and being in different spots, and now he's winning a Super Bowl, and it's like the Jets can't get anything right now.
Yeah.
So I think, again, this goes back to what I was trying to say, where the sole focus of Aaron Glenn is he's trying to win as many games as possible to save his job. You would agree with that, right?
100%.
So if I'm looking at his mentality, it's tagging Breece Hall. It's getting a bridge quarterback that is a veteran that can lead this offense, can be a leader in the locker room, because this Jets locker room needs a lot of leadership for this year.
Absolutely.
And someone that can operate well with Frank Reich and say, I can handle your offense. We can get the ball into Breece and Garrett Wilson's hands as much as possible. Maybe as a playmaker, we take in the top 44. We can get the ball in his hands as well. And then let's see how many games we can squeak out here going into 2027.
Yeah. I'm just, as a fan, dude, I don't have it in me to go through a year where, like, they win 5 or 6 games and they're like pulling as hard as they can to try to squeak out these wins. And then, like, it's like, what are you doing this for? Like what? And I hate thinking like that. It's such a bad way to think.
It's not a good way to look at it.
But it's a reality, though.
I know, but
it's like,
but don't. I would say don't look at it that way.
Yeah, that's fair.
We can't approach with that mindset, in my opinion, as a Jets fan, We've been through so much darkness right now. Like we have.
So I want to see something that is actually.
Again, I think I went back to this with you a bunch here over the years when we're doing this podcast.
Like, hold on. Like, don't lie to me. Like, don't tell me we have something here when we don't. Like, I'm fine with winning 6 games with Ty Simpson starting at quarterback.
Sure.
I'm fine with that. I'm not fine with winning 6 games
with Kirk Cousins?
Yeah, or Marcus Mariota. Like, I'm good. Like, I'm very good on that. Like, at least give me something that I could look forward to. Like, all right, that might be the guy. That might be the guy. Like,
well, I think you would still see that either way.
Potentially. Yeah, I mean, it's.
No, I'm not talking about from the quarterback. I'm
You're
talking
saying in
about
general.
from the team.
Yeah.
Like, if we take David Bailey, it's like, holy crap, he turned into a 10-sack player in his rookie year, and there's real potential there to be a real.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Like, they let's say they find a safety in this draft, or they find a real wide receiver in this draft that could be a wide receiver 2, big man to Garrett Wilson's, Batman. So it's like, yeah, I would love to see those things happen. That's what I'm trying to focus on. So I'm trying to project, hopefully, for this team going forward. But I know the reality that you're talking about here. We're talking about a team. Vegas knows it. We know it. It's a bottom 3 team in the NFL right now. And there's a good potential they could be the worst team in the NFL next year if things don't go their way. But Aaron Glenn is trying to go in that mindset of, F that, we need to find real good players. We need to sign veterans, which we all know he's going to in this free agency. I have a feeling they're going to actually be more active than they have in the last couple of years in free agency, bringing in Aaron Glenn's guys, probably from Detroit, and try to bring that mindset of, let's win some football games. Let's grind them out. Let's see if we can get something here. I like the coaching staff a lot better than last year, man. So maybe they can turn some games around and get better luck in these games, and maybe like Aaron Glenn can find himself in better spots. But overall, man, got to be positive here. It's the offseason. This is where we're supposed to shine. The Jets are Super Bowl champions.
Maybe it's a good thing we're not.
Look,
we have the picks, though.
We have the picks, and we just talked about it. Listen, we hit on Arvell Reese if he's worthy of that number 2 overall pick. Jets fans, let us know what you think in the comments. If you think Arvell Reese is worth that number 2 pick, would you tag Breece Hall? And ultimately, do you see this team finishing with more or less than 5.5 wins? Hit us up in the comments. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button on the New York Post Sports YouTube channel. Follow Frankie along at U Stadium for any content they are making as well for the draft. We got some more stuff coming to the channel on the draft. We got some mock drafts coming. We got a ton of discussion around these players. We got some combine stuff coming up. So we got it all for you. Until next time, Jets fans. For Frankie, for Ryan, go Jets.